You're listening to a very special podcast. Don't forget to subscribe via iTunes or YouTube. You can follow us on Twitter at verypodcast and check out our website of veryspecialpodcast.tumblr.com.
All right, hello everybody, and welcome to a very special podcast. This is the podcast where we watch all your favorite television programs from yesteryear and then discuss them over a glass of wine. And do you smell what The Rock is cooking? Today is The Rock's birthday. I don't know how old he is, but I believe he just came out with an alarm clock app.
An alarm clock app? What?
Yeah, so I decided to see what this crazy thing was all about. So I downloaded it last night, and you can set yourself, I guess, reminders throughout the day, but for motivational purposes. So you can be like, let's do a very special podcast recording. And then when it gets close to that time, you get like inspirational music from The Rock, and he kind of like sings to you.
Are you serious?
Yes, it's really strange. And there's another feature in which you can, I guess, set it so you can wake up at the same time as The Rock.
Oh, really?
Which is like 4 a.m.
Yeah.
So, like...
Well, is it like 4 a.m. his time or just like 4 a.m. your time?
Well, it goes off at 4 a.m. I think it's set for 4:15 a.m. So I think wherever you are at 4:15 a.m. It's going to go off. So I'm pretty sure The Rock is on California, maybe?
Yeah.
And I'm in the East Coast time zone, so he is obviously still asleep. But if you follow The Rock's Instagram, he's like always awake.
He is. I love his Instagram. His Instagram is one of my favorites to follow.
He's up super early. He is probably waking up like right when I'm going to bed.
Probably.
Which is why I immediately deleted the app after this, because I was like, you know what, this is foolish. It's just taking up precious space on my iPhone. And you have to keep the app open, like, in the background in order for it to work, so you just can't, like, close it.
I hate that.
And I'm really OCD about leaving apps open in the background, because I feel it's just a waste of battery life and data.
It really is. Like, I hate, like, my phone, there are times where I'm like, it's just sitting next to me. And I'll, like, start it, like, I'll look, it's, like, 90%, and then I'll, like, look 30 minutes later, it's like 75. I'm like, what were you doing? I'm like, what is running on this thing?
You are reblogging things on Tumblr. That's what you're doing.
Yeah, it's stupid Tumblr. And
anyway, I'm Patrick M. Dunn. You probably remember me from the previous 43 episodes of the podcast.
Yeah, this is episode 43.
I think this is episode 44, but who cares?
I don't know. That's what I have on my note.
And I'm joined here, as always, by Kat Halstead, the author.
What up?
Fan fiction writer.
Yeah.
T-shirt designer.
Lots of fan fiction.
You were a t-shirt designer or a t-shirt manager? You're a t-shirt something, right?
Printer.
That was it.
Silk screener.
And
designer.
You can buy our t-shirts that say, I love 90s Jared Leto at our website.
Actually, I don't even know what our t-shirts say anymore. I gotta go, but I haven't checked in a while, and I think that one got flagged because it said Jared Leto.
Jared Leto's got that shit on lockdown.
Yeah, he's like right up there with Beyonce, like locking everything down.
Did he send you like any of those weird, creepy, like Suicide Squad threats? Like, you know how he was like sending weird gifts to the cast?
As far as I know, he hasn't, but he might have just sent them to the old address and they didn't get forwarded.
It's on its way. What did he send, like a used condoms to the old cast members of Suicide Squad?
He sent like dead animals and stuff, like just shit he thought the Joker would send to people.
Do you think
the Joker is probably like that one character that just fucks with people's heads so much?
Do you think he sent something to Will Smith? Because Will Smith is in the Suicide Squad.
Yeah, I think he sent something to, like, everybody.
I don't know. I feel like Will Smith is kind of like untouchable. Like you can't like I'll fuck around the whole cast, but we'll leave Will Smith alone. Or
yeah.
What about like Viola Davis is in that movie, right? I believe.
I don't even know. I remember like hearing a bunch of casting, and then like I didn't hear anything for a while, and then I kind of forgot about it, and then everybody's like, "Oh, Suicide Squad's coming," and I'm like, "Huh? What?" I totally forgot about it.
Tonight's episode, we are doing a music video, which we haven't done in over a year. The last time we did a music video was not Dolly Parton, Reba McEntire.
It was Reba McEntire.
We did Fancy, the smash hit of the early 90s that I had never heard of until we decided to do that song.
Mm-hmm.
And that was
I still don't know how you had never heard of Fancy.
I just didn't run in my circles, I guess. If you want to know about why I never heard Fancy, you can find that episode on iTunes or wherever our podcasts are. So
yeah, where are we? We're on iTunes, and
we have some stuff on SoundCloud, as much data as they allow us to put on there. And I believe we're on Google Play. Is that a thing? And YouTube.
I think so.
YouTube's our big one, I think.
YouTube, iTunes, all that good stuff.
We love YouTube because we get crazy comments, like people saying, WTF is this?
Yeah, or the people who like want to correct us on stuff, and we're like, we were joking about that, but okay.
And most of the people who listen to us on YouTube think we're like young millennials, and they don't realize that we were alive when like things like the Garfield cartoon originally aired. So they
think we're like 22 or something, just like screwing around when we're almost as old as the Charles in Charge parents.
Yes, we are 34 years old. We are 34-year-old people screwing around. So Kat picked the Fancy music video last time, and I have the proud pleasure of selecting a music video, and we always try to pick something that has a story behind it and a story in the video, so that way we can kind of discuss the plot, I guess. So I chose the 1983 song "The Homecoming Queen's Got a Gun" by Julie Brown. It's like a satire, like a parody song of old teen, like tragic.
It is the teen tragedy song.
So like songs from the 50s where teenagers died in unfortunate circumstances.
Yeah, like the 50s and 60s, like My Boyfriend's Back or Teen Angel, Leader of the Pack. The original song Death Cab for Cutie, not the band, but the song.
And what was the one?
Hell by Meatloaf is a teen tragedy song.
What was the one Pearl Jam covered eventually? That there was about like a lady who died, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
So Julie Brown.
It's been forever since I listened to Pearl Jam, I'll be honest.
Yeah, I think it's been a long time since anybody listened to Pearl Jam. No offense to our Pearl Jam fans out there. Don't send us hateful YouTube comments, please. Send it to our email address.
A very special podcast at gmail.com.
And we'll never read it, so please send it there. Please send your hatred there. So Julie Brown is a comedic actress, comedian, writer. I believe she had a TV show at one point in time. So she decided to spin this teen tragedy genre on its head, and she spawned I don't know if it was a hit, The Homecoming Queen's Got a Gun in 1983.
It was like a cult kind of thing, like a cult classic kind of hit.
Yes, and so basically what the title suggests is what the song's about. A homecoming queen has got a gun, and she's just taking out her classmates. And you got to keep in mind, this is like way pre-Columbine and any like mass shootings.
Yeah, this is like pre-Columbine, pre everything that went down when we were in high school.
Yes.
Because when we were in high school was when that whole stuff like really like clustered and was all over the place.
Yes. I believe I was in like maybe a junior in high school when Columbine struck.
Yeah, we were juniors.
Yes. And
that was my first year at high school in Colorado.
I was going to say, I believe how close were you to Columbine, the school?
I think Littleton was like 2 hours away, 2 hours drive.
Okay. Like, do you know people that go there, or did you? Or is it just too far?
I do. I went to college with people.
Like, were they there? Well, obviously they would have been there at that time, right?
They were there at that time.
Did you get like first-hand accounts?
No, we don't talk about that.
Or like are they just
Kinda
horrified
like
to
don't
something
talk
like
about it unless they want to.
you
Don't
whispered
bring
like
it up.
you're like that's a Columbine girl, and then you just like talk to her about like other stuff that was popular at the time, like the rapper Eve or something.
Yeah, you just like don't talk about it. You just go on with your life.
Talk about like Gwen Stefani's solo career, or that when No Doubt came back with Rocksteady, maybe. I don't know. I
Or like
forget.
whatever was happening on Dawson's Creek back in the day.
Oh yeah, that
The
was like
great
prime.
Joey Dawson Pacey thing.
Yeah, that was like prime Dawson's Creek era, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So in my hometown, way back in a Boston suburb, I remember shortly after Columbine happened, there was like a slew of kids that I guess they were eccentric, let's just say, and
Hmm.
everyone kind of teamed up against them, like all like
Yeah.
the jocks and the cliques kind of grouped up, and they're like, these kids are gonna like take over our school one day because they wear like jackets from the Matrix. But I think like they wore jackets from the Matrix before Columbine went down. So like,
Yeah.
and I was like on the fence. I was like almost an outcast, but kind of with it too. So I'm like, they're not going to do anything. This is like, and there was always these rumors like this one kid got mad at his mom or something. He had guns and he was going to come in, and like we had to have like a conference in the auditorium, and the principal would speak to us and stuff. It was stupid, and you just look back at it, you're like, wow, that's like insane. And I just can't even imagine being in high school now and having to deal with it at more of like a normal sea level. It just seems like you hear about like someone like tweets that there's going to be a bomb at the school, and then next thing you know, like every school in the state shut down.
Yeah, exactly. It's crazy. Like I remember my dad like made my brother go through like his CDs in front of him. And like there's like Marilyn Manson, like whoever the other musicians were that got blamed. My brother had to go to the mall and sell them back to like the CD store.
It was so funny because I listened to Marilyn Manson in like eighth grade, and by the time I was a junior in high school, I was like over it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even think I really even listened to Marilyn Manson. I think I liked that one time he covered the Eurythmics song. It was the Eurythmics,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, it's like "Sweet Dreams Are Made of These," and I thought that was
That's
cool.
probably what like most people had a Marilyn Manson CD for.
Yes,
That one song.
and I bought the CD. That was the only song I listened to, and then the other songs I thought were kind of like lame, and I was over it. And then like 4 years later, he was still like a thing, and I was like, really? Like people are still into this? Like there were 6 people in my school that were into it, like kind of maybe. That was probably like The Beautiful People. It was probably like around that time, 99 maybe.
Yeah, I think so. I don't. It's all kind of fuzzy to me.
That album cover where Marilyn Manson has boobs. Do you remember when Marilyn Manson toured with Hole?
I remember it happening.
They played.
I wasn't going to see a Hole concert. I was over Hole by then.
Oh, how can you be ever over Hole?
Actually, you know what? I bet if I went and I listened to, if I pulled up some Hole on YouTube, like after we finish this, I might be like, okay, this is actually not bad. But I'm not sitting here going, I got to go look up Hole. That's not like when I do a 90s music rewind and go through all these old videos on YouTube, Hole's not coming up.
What? Like, I feel like Hole should be like the 4th song that you listen to. Probably like Doll Parts, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. You're strange.
I will keep that in mind for later. See how much data I have.
Okay.
Once we're done.
So, what is your familiarity with this Julie Brown song?
I knew nothing about it until one morning. I'm laying in bed and I'm checking my phone and I have this message from you going, we need to do this video for the podcast. And this is like months ago you sent me this. Like so long ago, I was still living in Minnesota.
It might have been last summer.
Yeah, I think it was sometime over the summer. And I start playing it because I'm like, oh, it'll be something kind of goofy. I don't know what this is. And I'm like sitting there watching this on my phone going, what the fuck is wrong with Patrick? Like, what? Why did you want to do this? And now ex-boyfriend was laying in the bed too, and I'm like, I don't know.
He's like, what? All right, so the reason how I found this music video. So I originally discovered this probably around the time I was in 5th grade. And I was really, and I still am, but I was really obsessed with Gina Davis. This was right after A League of Their Own came out, which I watched last night, by the way. It still holds up. and I just needed to get
I
involved.
love that movie. It's one of my all-time favorites.
It definitely is. Like, the movie has heart, it has soul, it has humor, it has ladies playing baseball.
I quote that movie like daily. I might change it a little bit, like whatever Axton's doing. Like my nephew, if he's like playing Monster Trucks and he just starts crying, I'm like, there's no crying in Monster Trucks.
Yes, it's so quotable. It's very. I never remember movie quotes, but I remember quotes from A League of Their Own. And
Yeah, those movies that I'm like quoting. Like, he's like quoting Come Out of Their Own, and I'm like, why would you quote Mean Girls? You can quote A League of Their Own. It's way better.
I just want to stop this podcast right now, go watch A League of Their Own, and then come back and we'll resume.
I seriously wish I had the DVD with me right now.
Oh, it's on Netflix.
Oh, it is?
Yes, I watched it last night.
Okay, I know what I'm watching later tonight.
I watched The Burbs, and then I watched A League of Their Own.
Wait, you watched The Burbs again?
Yes. You gotta, like, The Burbs is a movie you have to throw on, like, every 7 months.
Yeah.
So, as I mentioned, I was a huge, and still am, a huge Gina Davis nut, and A League of Their Own was really my true introduction to her, so I had to kind of, like, get myself involved in everything she's ever done. So I just, like, at that time, I did, like, a whole review of her film catalog at the time, and I stumbled upon a movie at my local video store called Earth Girls Are Easy. I don't know if you've ever seen it.
I haven't.
All right.
Younger, it was on like Comedy Central or something. I feel like I saw it like once.
So the movie is written, directed, and starred Julie Brown, and she sings quirky songs in the movie, like I'm a Blonde or something like that. And I kind of was like, oh, I kind of like this chick. You know, I kind of dig her vibe. And I did a little like outside research, which I was in 5th grade in 1992, so I don't know how, like, what my research involved, because I didn't have the internet then, but I somehow found my way to her album, which had this song on here, The Homecoming Queen's Got a Gun, and I just thought it was a great song. I loved it. I took it seriously. I listened to it all the time, like ad nauseum, all day long, and I don't know, eventually, like, that whole thrill of it wore out, and last summer, it just randomly popped in my head, so I was like, you know, I'm going to check it on YouTube just to see what's there. And that was the first time I saw the music video. That's why I sent it to you, and was like, we have to do this. It's been a Gina Davis week for me, though.
Oh, really? What else have you watched besides A League of Their Own that's starring Gina Davis?
Well, Earth Day was just the other day, in case you have forgotten. And the classic Earth Day, the 1990 Earth Day television special, which we both watched on YouTube. It's available on YouTube, which is...
You have to watch this.
Yes, you have to watch this.
It is the most ridiculous thing I have ever watched, and it is amazing, and it is horrible, and it is my everything.
I don't even know how to explain it, because it has a story, but it really doesn't have a story, and it includes, like, actual, like, television characters, like Doogie Howser's in it. The Bundys, like, it's not like the actors, it's the actual characters, and they all come together to save the planet. But
then you have, like, actual actors as themselves.
Yes.
Too. It's so weird.
And Bette Midler plays Mother Earth, and she's dying.
Yeah.
And at one point, Gina Davis shows up as a guest on, like, The Love Connection, or one of those weird shows.
It's the dating game.
It's the dating game, and one of the people that she has to, like, one of her potential contestants, and the one that she picks ends up being Rodney Dangerfield.
Yes, it was so weird. I was like, what am I watching? Like, it's so, like, this is why you have to watch it, because there's, like, little sketches like that you just sit there going, what am I watching? This cannot be real. And then you've got like young Mayim Bialik and Jonathan Brandis like running around with E.T. trying to find a way to like show Mother Earth that they still love her. It's oh my god, something ever.
And then about an hour in, there's like a weird music break, and it's The Fresh Prince. This is like not Will Smith. The Fresh Prince, Queen Latifah, Kid and Play, and Ice-T. They do this weird like Save the Earth rap, and it's the greatest thing I've ever seen. I don't even know like how else to describe this.
It is amazing. No, my favorite though is Kevin Costner as the bartender and Meryl Streep as the woman who like comes in. I don't even know why she goes in there for like a glass of water or something. And they have this really weird flirtation about Mother Earth dying. It is so, like, oh my God, you just have to see it because it is amazing and weird and wonderful.
And there's these like weird messages like, this is how you save the planet. Like, don't keep the refrigerator door open too long when you're deciding what you want to eat. Make sure you know what you want before you get to the refrigerator. Like, it's these weird little like 1990-ish tips.
Yeah.
And we've done nothing since then.
You could probably take this script, maybe punch it up a little bit, because there were times where I was just like, oh my God, why are these people still talking? It gets a little dry, but you could probably take it with today's celebrities, put it on the air. Nobody would even notice that it's the same thing from 1990.
Who would be Mother Earth? Who's like the modern day Bette Midler?
You could probably still get Bette Midler.
You probably could, because she was like really into like saving the earth, wasn't she?
Mm-hmm.
Who's the?
Oh my God! No, you forgot the best part. The random song at the end.
The what?
The random Barbara Streisand song at the end.
Oh, I forgot about that. Okay. I think by that point, I think my brain was fried from this special.
Yeah.
Well, the special opens up with Bugs Bunny, like Looney Tune characters, and this was like right after Mel Blanc died, so their voices are just weirdly, noticeably different. Like it was not Bugs Bunny's voice; it was like a Brooklyn accent. All right, so shall we get into the Homecoming Queen's Got a Gun?
Yeah, let's do this.
All right. So the biggest thing that I wanted to talk about the Homecoming Queen's Got a Gun, in the first 6 or 7 seconds of this video, we see a nerdish looking girl wearing headgear. Mm-hmm. And headgear just takes me back. I don't even know where to begin on the subject of headgear. Did you have braces as a child or preteen?
Nope. No braces, no trainer, but I don't think, I had friends who had braces, but I don't think anybody had the headgear that they had to, like, if they did, it was only for, like, at night. It wasn't the kind they had to wear, like, during the day.
I think headgear was probably primarily, like, a 70s and 80s thing, like, an early 80s thing.
Yeah.
I vaguely remember seeing, like, classmates with headgear in, like, maybe 2nd or 3rd grade. But I never thought it was, like, abnormal, only because, like, you were at that point in life where everyone was, like, equal. You didn't really, like, judge people for their disformities. But this video clearly makes fun of nerds in that, like, Revenge of the Nerds-like way, where they wear glasses and they dress up in, like, white shirts with bow ties.
Or like the nerds on Saved by the Bell.
Yes, which is just, it's almost like, it's highly stereotypical. Like, they present them as these, like, humans who are not capable of functioning in a normal society.
Well, yeah, okay, think about the narrator. She's so out of her mind. Like, what she seems to think is normal. Like, because I just rewatched the video before you called, and I was just like, this girl is out of her mind. And you know what she reminded me? This video reminds me of?
What's that? Those
auto-tune videos of, like, the people who talk to the newscasters.
Oh, like the things with, like, the thing they do in, like, Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt?
Yeah, like, that. It totally reminds me of that.
And, like,
that kind of thing.
That bronchitis lady?
Or, like, the leprechauns guy.
Yeah, like those weird, like, it's an actual news story, but then, like, someone gets this idea to, like, auto-tune it, and they put it to, like, an EDM background music tracking, and, like, making a song. Oh, you know what? I never thought of it that way.
That's what she kind of reminds me of. So she's probably not really Debbie's best friend, but she's probably, like, that attention seeker who goes and talks to the news crew. It's like, oh yeah, I was totes Debbie's best friend. Like, we've been best friends since, like, the 2nd grade, and we always, like, sit next to each other in class when we're, like, alphabetical. So, like, yeah.
And I believe in the lyrics, she's really embarrassed by what's going on.
Oh, yeah, she's totally like, what are you doing, Debbie? Oh, Debbie, how could you?
You're embarrassing me. She's definitely, like, she's a valley girl.
Oh, yeah. Like, totally, like, awesome. Like, Debbie, how could you, like, do that to us? Like, what did we ever, like, do to you? Oh, Debbie.
All right, so one of the lyrics is, she's referring to Debbie, who's the homecoming queen. So, it was homecoming night at my high school. Everyone was there. It was totally cool. I was real excited. I almost wet my jeans because my best friend Debbie was homecoming queen. She looked so pretty in pink chiffon, riding a float with her tiara on, holding this humongous bouquet in her hand, bouquet. She looked straight out of Disneyland. And then she goes, you know that Cinderella ride? I mean, definitely an e-ticket. And I am dying to know what an e-ticket is.
Yeah, I don't know what an e-ticket is. Like in 1980, like I know they have Fast Pass now. Like you can buy to like get into a faster line or something.
I Googled e-ticket and I just get like e-tickets to an airplane or e-tickets to something, like an electronic ticket
like
to
a
an
movie
event.
or something.
Yes, and I'm like, never mind. This is beyond Google search now.
It's just too old.
And then the crowd was cheering. Everyone was stoked. I mean, it was like the whole school was totally coked, which was a great line because...
Yeah, okay, so wait. Cinderella ride? Do you know what the Cinderella ride at Disneyland is?
I've been to the one in Orlando, and
That's Disney World, and that's the carousel.
Isn't there's a ride where you get on kind of a thing that like floats up in the sky and you go through Cinderella's castle, maybe? Is that something? Or am I thinking of something else?
Yeah, maybe that would make sense, yeah. Okay.
But I mean, the Small Wonder ride was probably a lot cooler, or the Haunted Mansion, or the Pirates thing. The Pirates of the Caribbean.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Caribbean.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
All right, so now, for some reason, Debbie wigs out and she just starts shooting everybody. The first person she kills is the girl with the headgear. So, unfortunately, she's not long for this world. And then she starts picking off cheerleaders one by one. I believe one of the cheerleaders' name is Buffy.
Yeah, and her, like, pom-poms just, like, disintegrate. Like, the whole thing is just ridiculous.
They do this cool effect where when Debbie fires the gun and she shoots the cheerleader, they obviously can't show, like, violence, gratuitous violence. So they just do the thing where, like, the camera shuts off and it comes back on and you just see, like, the shoes just standing there. Like she got blown out of her shoes.
She just with, like, the smoke coming out of it?
Yes. And this is where the narrator's like, stop it, Debbie. You're embarrassing me. How can you do what you just did? Are you having a really bad period?
Like, oh my god.
I mean, I guess it's possible, right?
It is. Because there's actually, like, a disease, like, there's a thing where, like, you can have really, like, there's a PMS mental disorder or something, I think, where, like, your hormones go so out of balance that it affects the chemistry in your brain. Like, I've read about that.
Mm-hmm. And I think we're having, like, a reverse Carrie situation here. Like the Stephen King novel where Carrie was not popular, and then she kills all her classmates.
After they pour the pig's blood on her.
Yes, so I guess we have a reverse situation where maybe Debbie just did not want to be popular.
Yeah, she's probably like, you know what? This ties into Charles in Charge. Because think about it. Alexander Morgan, Gwendolyn Pierce, they didn't like their popularity. It was just like foisted upon them. So that's probably what happened to Debbie. Like, Debbie was probably just like this girl. She, like, okay, she was attractive, but maybe she was really great in math. But nobody, like, noticed that because they're all like, oh my God, Debbie, you are, like, totally the biggest wonderful. And we just, like, I love you oh so much.
And she probably wanted to get into, like, drama class and just maybe break into acting, but
nobody, like, believed in her. So she went crazy and she shot everybody at homecoming.
Yeah, they just thought she was like a mall chick. She would just go to like Tape World and buy cassettes and read magazines and do those quizzes to see like which character from Family Ties she was or whatever was popular at the time.
And she probably kept getting Mallory instead of Alex like she wanted. And she's like, fuck this shit. I don't want to be Mallory. I want to be Alex.
Which girl from The Facts of Life are you? And she wanted to be like a Jo, but she kept getting Blair. And she's like, I don't want to be Blair.
Yeah. Or worse, she got Natalie.
Yeah. Oh, Natalie. Which I follow Mindy Cohn, who plays Natalie, or played Natalie, on Instagram. And I enjoy her Instagram immensely.
Really?
Yes. She has purplish color hair now. And she is always like doing fun things. And I believe around the time
Mhm.
When Dancing with the Stars first premiered, she was at that because Kim Fields was on Dancing with the Stars. Is she still on there? Is she still kicking?
I think she got voted off this week.
As soon as Misha Barton was out, I was done. I was like, all right.
You're done.
I was Team Misha all the way.
Oh my god, I'm still mad at her because she could have worked her fucking ass off and proven that she's not a fucking hot mess like we say.
I love in the first episode that she's on, she talked about how she used to be like a professional dancer or something like that, and then she just kind of comes out and, I mean, she probably gave it like a 40%. I think it kind of just looked like she was just walking across the stage in a dress.
It's just like, I'm here, I'm Misha Barton, that will get me to the finals.
She had years of training going to those stupid events that Julie Cooper made her go to, like all those galas and debutante balls and whatever event they had to go to in every episode of the OC. Because every episode involves an event leading up to the big moment where they're at the event and some like blowout happens.
Yeah, because there's always a blowout.
Marissa announces to the whole town that her mom is banging Caleb.
Yeah.
So.
Because God forbid everybody needed to know that right then, Marissa. Thanks, you stupid bitch. Oh, here, let me get drunk and drive. And then get pissed off when Ryan tells me I'm drunk and he doesn't want to see me drunk because I'm a fucking bitch.
All right, so where are we in Homecoming Queen's Got a Gun?
Can we talk about the gun?
Oh my god, yes.
And how it's like one of those old school revolvers with like just the 6 chambers, but you never see her reload, but she's shooting up like everybody and nobody tries to take her down.
Yes, it's like a Clint Eastwood movie gun. Whatever town they live in, it takes an hour for the cops to arrive because one of the lines in the song is, an hour later, the cops arrive. By then, the entire Glee Club has died. No big loss. Which, that is just stuck in my head all the time. I just think of the show Glee for some reason now, whenever she says
Oh my god!
I just think of Debbie going through the Glee high school and just massacring all the Glee students. Like,
obviously, this chick that Julie Brown is playing, the narrator, is totally Sue Sylvester.
Yeah, she kind of is, now that I think about it. And
she is.
And the headgear girl kind of reminds me of Leah Michele, only because of Leah Michele and Scream Queens for some reason.
Oh, yes.
And strangely, I think Scream Queens is kind of like a modern-day serialized version of this song, to be honest with you.
I didn't really watch Scream Queens. It's like on my to-watch eventually list. I just didn't have time.
Oh, it's wonderful. It'll be another future podcast at some point in time. When it becomes, like, nostalgic by that point.
So, in like 5 years?
Yes. I think Scream Queens will be one of those shows that in 20 years, the new millennials will discover, and they will have a podcast talking about it in the same way that we're doing the Homecoming Queen's Got a Gun.
I could totally see that.
They will be so confused by it because of the absurd amount of violence that is played off as a joke, and our world will be even crazily more violent by then, that no one will know what to think.
They'll be like, what the hell was this? What is wrong with people? That Ryan Murphy guy is really fucked up. That's what they're going to say.
Ryan Murphy is definitely hit or miss. Rymu. All right, so eventually the cops arrive. They shoot Debbie in the head, like in her ear, I guess.
Yeah, she gets shot in the ear because that's someplace. That's what you aim for. You shoot them in the ear.
So she's annihilated an unknown amount of people, plus a math teacher. And the cops arrive. They take her down. She like collapses in the parking lot of the school. The narrator kind of like runs up and she just is dying to know what's going on. So she speaks into Debbie's good ear, Debbie with the good ear. Mm-hmm. And she just wants to know, like, why are you doing this shit? Like, this is insane. And she's like, I did it for Johnny.
Stupid narrator bitch is like, who's Johnny? The only Johnny I know is like this like total geek. Like, why would you do this for him? Like, you wouldn't.
But Debbie couldn't answer her anymore. Debbie was like, and this is where we get the best shot of the entire music video. So the narrator, while she's like crying over Debbie's dead body, like a handsome cop comes up, like a young cop. They like, instantly fall in love and they like walk away. Then out of like this left-hand side of the screen, you see like a man hand come into this into this focus and just grabs Debbie's tiara and just takes it.
Oh yeah, just takes the tiara.
It's like setting up the weird sequel that will probably happen 40 years later.
Oh, yeah.
Like, was it Johnny? Was it Johnny's hand? Like, they definitely weren't dusting it for Prince because they would have had gloves on. It was just a bare hand.
Yeah.
And the scene ends, the song ends, and we are just left with all these lingering questions. Who is Johnny? Who is the mysterious hand that was grabbing the tiara? Most importantly, what the fuck did I just watch? An amazing music video. So that was a fun episode. Looking ahead, have we decided what we are going to do next?
Is it that thing we talked about the other day?
Yes.
I think it is.
I believe you should say the name of it because I've already forgotten what it's called.
Okay, it is a TV movie from the 80s called Dance Till Dawn. You can find it on YouTube, and you will love this. It's got all your favorite, 80s stars. Tracy Gold, Tempest Bledsoe, Alyssa Milano, Matthew Perry, Christina Applegate, Alan Thicke, Kelsey Grammer. It is phantasmic, and it is one of my favorite things ever.
I can't wait. I've only seen the first few minutes of it, and I was like, we have to talk about this in its entirety.
Yes.
Forever. So,
I thought I forgot. I saw it once when I was probably 13 or something on WPIX on a Saturday afternoon. And I always remember this movie. It's one of those movies you see once and you remember it for years later as one of those things you just have to find. I was so happy when I found it on YouTube. I was like, yes, this really existed. I'm not crazy. And it was even better than I remembered.
We are going to keep it alive. So join us next week on a very special podcast. And don't forget to follow us on Twitter at verypodcast. Our website, what is our website?
A very special podcast.tumblr.com.
And just follow us in life in general. So as always, until next time.
Bye!